Good morning. It is May 31st. What did I start? I didn't finish talking about Jewel Salas's class. Her art class. I think I got cut off in the last one. But I wanted to speak to that because she does a really great class. Like, it's a really great class. Watercolor class. It's a safe environment. She has this kindergarten flair to her in terms of it's just a really fun and safe environment, and I was just floored at just watching her teach this class. And she told me too, she's like, I saw you looking at me and I wanted to cry. I was just really in awe of her. She's a really good heart, and I was just really grateful to have taken that class with her. She's so talented, and her personality is great. And she's fun. But yeah, I just wanted to finish because I got cut off in that last video when I was talking about her art class, her watercolor class, which sold out, by the way. And I'd like to post nude for her too. Because she just provides such a safe environment. Yeah. But I'm emotional just because. So I went to birthday barbecue yesterday. I was supposed to work in it. There was no market. Or was there a market? No, there's no market yesterday. And I got invited to these 2 different birthday parties, but I had one of them I committed to helping out, so I went to that one. It was my nephew's, and you know, my ex was there. It was nice to see him. And I found myself opening up a little bit more to, like, some people there that I hadn't connected with before, or I would try, like, whenever I would go to these events in this particular subset of my life, excuse me, I always found myself retreated back. Like, I couldn't socialize with it. Like, it was really hard for me to come out and socialize. And yesterday was different. Yesterday I think because of the practice that I've had with, like, working with Hannah and meeting new people and just putting myself out there and just talking to strangers, like, it just made the experience different yesterday. So I was able to, like, socialize more, and it was fun, and it was I was learning a lot about these individuals in ways that I'd never really gave myself permission to, because I like I said, I always struggled socially. So it was nice. It was nice to get to know these women in a different way. And there was this new person that I'd met her before, but never really had a conversation with her, really. And we had the same work background. But then she asked about, I think she thought I was still married. And, you know, I think I had forgotten that not everyone knows. Or because of COVID, you know, it's been so long that you socialize, so you think everyone is not there, and not everybody knows. So I had to tell her, I'm like, we're not together anymore. And he was right there too, so I was like, we were trying, and the people that didn't know, like, we're trying to be helpful. I appreciated that. And she's just like, oh, okay, I'm sorry I didn't know. I'm like, no, it's fine. You know, for the most part, we're good. But it triggered, I think just the way it flowed, I was triggered, and it made me feel, I felt sad. To a certain degree, I felt sad. And then the age topic came up, and that triggered something else in me with someone else. And I didn't say anything, just stayed quiet about, I mean, still engaging in conversation, but keeping that trigger at bay. Keeping that trigger at bay. Because there is an age difference with this new fire sign. And then I got a chance to talk about, like, birth charts and astrology, reincarnation. It was, like, fun. Like, it was a fun conversation to just be able to be me, you know, like, no hiding, no shame, no, just be me completely. It was nice and fun. It was fun. Because I hadn't felt like I could do that before, at least in this group. And then to know that it piqued their interest too, like they wanted to learn more, it was so great, because I want to, there's a part of me, and I met with my mentor in the morning, and I was telling her, I was like, there's this difference of wanting to appease people, because I was telling her about some of my videos in the beginning, and how I wanted to go back and make them more, like, I mean, I don't remember how they look. I don't, just maybe even the title page, right? To show that it's, because the older ones don't have that other video at the end where I kind of explain what I'm doing. It's just rawness, right? And I remember saying to her, I'm like, there's a certain element that I don't want to interfere with the timestamp of it and the content, right? I don't want to mess with that, because that's my self-expression, that's my art, so to speak. But and then she's like, well, why she asked me a good question about why do I want to, like, appease them or something like that. I'm like, it's not about appeasing, it's about teaching, right? Because at the same time, as much as this is self-expression and art, I'm realizing, right, that through this process, it's not just a matter of connecting with people or triggering, right, something in someone, hoping that they become curious and entertain the idea of possibly looking at a situation in a different way, that it's not polarized, right? And there's an element of wanting to teach, wanting to guide. And in so doing, at least the experiences that I have with teaching, you know, when you have a classroom of kiddos, like, you're what you're doing is taking this information and breaking it down into bite-sized pieces, or making it digestible, right? Making it so that it resonates, that it sticks with your students. And I know the beginning videos, it's like, what the f is going on? like that's what I feel like, what the hell's going on, right? Because I'm falling apart, I'm confused, I don't know what's happening. And sometimes that can deter people, right? It scares people away. It makes them worry, it makes them, you know. And as much as I want that to be a trigger for people because then it strikes up an interest, right? At the same time, there's going to be a point where it's like there's a teaching element. So when I got an opportunity to talk about that yesterday with these women, it was there was a teaching element to it, right? Because they didn't know much about it. So I'm like teaching them about a little bit that I know, right? But it's funny that we had that conversation before I went to this event. And I don't know if I mentioned it. I'm officially still in LCSW. I'm officially still in LCSW. I still maintain my license. I found out that with COVID, they extended so like I could renew my license without having to have all the classes. I don't think I need much in terms of classes. But if I get an extension to complete the classes, I was just so grateful for it. I'm like, okay, maybe this is another sign that maybe this is what I needed to do, right? And that's what I was telling her. I'm like, I realized I'm really just doing it for the title, for the credibility, right? That I worked hard for something and that, people will listen more when there's letters behind your name. That's just still the world we live in. And it kind of needs to be too, because, with the amount of trust that's been broken, it takes time to rebuild that trust. It takes time. So that was a trigger. I kind of jumped off topic, but so there was triggers. And so then there's one person who I was learning about, right? Getting to know her more. She asked me where I was living now, because I think the last time I talked to her, I was still living in the high desert. So I told her like where it was at. And then she asked me about a restaurant. The name didn't sound familiar, but it's like I knew what restaurant she was talking about. So I looked it up. She said, "You haven't heard of it?" She was kind of like adamant about it. She's like, "You really haven't heard of it?" And I'm like, "It doesn't sound familiar." So let me look it up. And then I don't eat out much. Like I don't eat out much. Like I really don't. I don't eat out at restaurants or fast food. Like I rarely ever do. And so I look it up and I see the pictures. And I'm trying to keep it together. But I knew what restaurant she was talking about. And she's like adamantly like pushing it almost. Like I was just like and I'm just like, why is she adamantly pushing it? And she's like, I really want to try this restaurant. Like, have you heard of it? I mean, like, just adamant. I'm like, and then by then, like, I've heard of it. I just never made it there. This other person told me he wanted to take me there. He showed me a picture of it. It looked really neat, really cool, really artistic on the inside. And he told me he wanted us to dress up and go there after COVID, because COVID had shut it down. Or closed it, or whatever. But the fact that she just goes adamant about it, and I was like, fuck, like, really? Really? All in one day. But I didn't become emotional about it. Actually, it just became emotional today when I started meditating this morning, because I'm reflecting back. And sometimes I do that when I'm in my like just trying to get in it, right? Like I put my headphones on and just try to clear my mind, but at the same time having to process images, right? Events of the day, the previous day. And that came up. And I just started crying. And then freaking Mercury retrograde, right? Because it's hitting that part of my life of partnerships. It's hitting that part of my life. Sink it in, it's coming up, right? So I saw the waves. And I saw the colors, and it was peaceful, and I stayed in it for a while. Like, there wasn't, like, it stayed, the color was like the pretty purple and blue mixed, and it was like here, and it would open up, and then it would close, and it was more to the top. It would open up, and then it would close. And there was other movement too, but there was nothing significant, nothing that stood out. It's just that one I remember because it was more predominant. It would open up and then close, and open up and then close at the top. It just felt good to be in it. So I stayed in there for a while. And I usually journal. When I do my spread, I journal for that week. The spread for the week, and then I journal. And I hadn't done that because I haven't had time to meditate, really. So I really wanted to catch up on that. I was behind 2 weeks. So I was able to, yeah, I don't know why I started. I mean, MJ recommended us doing it. So I just wanted to record on the pattern that I saw yesterday. And the fact that it's freaking Mercury retrograde. And Saturn too. Whatever. That's it.
Hi. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us, in whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth. This just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me. So take care.